Good morning, students. So, from the subject Electronics Device and Circuits, we have studied chapter number 2, that is MOSFET and its DC analysis. I am Madhuri Mui, working as Assistant Professor in Electronics and Telecommunication Department, SIT COE. So, let us start with the second chapter, next one. So, just we are going to take one overview what we have seen in earlier session. Okay, so we have completed from the second chapter content MOSFET as a diode, active resistor, current sink and source, current mirror, voltage references, band gap references, CMOS inverter as amplifier. So last session we have covered that CMOS inverter as amplifier for active load and current source. So in today's session we are going to see the push-pull configurations. Let us see. Yes, so this part we have already covered in previous sessions. So we are at CMOS inverter as amplifier. So from that active load and current source we have seen. So today we are going to focus on push-pull configuration. Okay. So this inverter, so active load inverter we have seen. For that voltage transfer characteristics we have seen. Then the equations are we have seen. Then small signal midband performance of active load inverter we have seen. So one performance of active resistor example we have seen. Then we have seen the current source load inverter. So for that also we have seen the voltage transfer characteristics of the current source inverter, as well as we have seen the what are the minimum and max values of Vout, and one example we have covered. So here we are going to see the push-pull inverter. So push-pull inverter, okay, so here that NMOS and PMOS both are combined, and gate terminal of that the MOS is connected to each other, sorry, short circuited and given to commonly Vin. So the supply voltage is 5 volt is used, and width and length ratio, that is 2:1, for that the NMOS, and for the PMOS it is that the 1:1. Okay, and output is taken out from this. So see the voltage transfer characteristics of push-pull amplifier. So already we know that how that the MOSFET will work. So the MOSFET is again nothing but there are two types, enhancement and depletion. Already we have that discussed, and according to that ID versus VDS already we have seen. But here one graph shows that the ID versus Vout, and another is the Vout versus Vin. Okay. So if you look carefully this voltage transfer characteristics for this push-pull amplifier, so you will get the clear-cut idea. So that the output current is plotted against that the output voltage, which is vary, and with respect to that Vin, with respect to that maintaining the input voltage constant. So these are the means M1 and M2, these are the transfer characteristics of that. So intersection point here, that located at Vin is equal to 2. Sorry, not this intersection, which means one is in off and one another is in on mode. So like that the operation takes place. So here one graph we have plotted, that is nothing but the projection of this graph, and whatever the points A, B, C, D, E plotted here, that same plotted here. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K up to this. So the rail to rail output voltage swing. Okay, rail to rail means 1 and 0, 1 and 0. So like that, rail to rail output voltage swing. And if you see the midpoint of that the graph, you will get so actual condition of that the M1 and M2. Okay, so when it is high and at the transition level, then M2 is it in an active layer, and M2 means after this it will in a saturated region. So after this point, so M1 is the saturated and M1 is the active. Okay, so they are work like that, the rail to rail output voltage swing. So regions operation of the M1 and M2 are listed here. So M1, when it is VDS is greater than VGS, at that time VGS minus VT, that is threshold voltage, so V out is greater than the V in, that is 0.7. And for the M2, VDS2 is greater than VGS2 minus threshold voltage. At that time, VDD minus V out, which is greater than or equal to VDD minus V in VT, and it is V out less than or equal to V in plus 0.7. So small signal performance of push-pull amplifier we are going to take into the consideration. So again here the same figure we have taken, and the representation in a small signal equivalent circuit we have drawn here. So as we know that the transconductance for that the M1 and M2, that according to that the capacitance value we have plotted here. Okay, and for the M2 also, M1 and M2. So input coupling capacitor and output coupling capacitor, that is CM and Cout also we have taken here. So small signal analysis gives the following result. So what are the result comes? So we know that gain is nothing but the V out by V in. So the gain representation for the output and input, so it represents in terms of the transconductance of the transistor M1 and M2. So V out is minus GM1 plus GM2 divided by transconductance of drain to source. So GDS1 plus GDS2. If you get this whole equation in terms of the value of transconductance and take out the common factors, so after the rearranging the equation becomes this minus sign as it is, under root of 2 divided by ID in bracket root of that the constant into the ratio of first transistor width by L plus root of K of that the PMOS, that is W2 divided by L2, that is the width to length ratio for M2 divided by lambda 1 plus lambda 2. So it is for the gain. Then if you want to value of R out, then the same thing is nothing but the 1 plus GDS1 plus GDS, and the impedance is represented GM1 plus GM2 divided by CM. Okay, so this CM is nothing but the series capacitance between the gate to drain of the transistor 1 and transistor 2, and that the P1 power is equal to minus GDS1 plus GDS2 divided by all the values of capacitance, like that is capacitance between drain to drain, gate to drain, then body to drain, and the length. So Z1 is greater than the P1, then so input transconductance is greater than then, so that omega GDS1 plus GDS2 divided by all the values of the capacitors. So let us take one example which shows the performance of push-pull inverter. So the performance of push-pull CMOS inverter is to be examined. Assume that W1 is 1 micrometer, L1 is 1 micrometer. So ratio for that the NMOS, and ratio for that the PMOS. Then VDD is 5 volt, and use the parameter table to the model M1 and M2 and use the capacitor values like this. And calculate the output swing limits and the small signal performance, assuming that ID1 is equal to ID2 is equal to 300 microampere. So the solution is given. So the output swing is seen to be formed from 0 volt to the 5 volt. So in order to find the small signal performance, we will make the important assumptions that both transistors are operating in the saturation region. Therefore, V out by V in is equal to 257 microseconds minus 245 microseconds divided by this. So that is the transconductance which is given by the table. So directly we have put the value and we have calculated the V out by V in. So R out is given by 37 kilo ohm, and that the frequency is 2.86 megahertz. Okay. Then next is the cascade amplifier. So cascade amplifier, why there is a use of cascade amplifier? So can provide higher output resistance and larger gain. Okay, so it can provide higher output resistance and larger gain if the load is also high in resistance. Okay, if the load is also high resistance, it reduces the Miller effect when the driving source has a large source resistance. Okay, it reduces the Miller effect when the driving source has a large source resistance. So figure shows here cascaded amplifier. Cascaded means what? The one means number of amplifiers are connected in a series. So for the first amplifier, the input is given, but whatever the output produced by the first amplifier, that is given to the next amplifier. So whatever the output from the second amplifier, that is given to the as input as the third. So like that the chain of the cascading amplifiers. So whether it is used when the higher output resistance is required and the larger gain is required. Okay. Then the cascade amplifiers are used. So there, what is the benefit of this cascade amplifier? So it reduces the Miller effect when during source has a large source resistance. Okay, when we are providing the source, then source itself having the large source resistance. To avoid that, the cascade amplifiers are used. So the Miller effect causes that the capacitance of drain get to drain to be increased by the value 1 plus V1 VL by Vin and appear in a parallel with the gate source of M1, causing a dominant pole to occur. Okay. So the cascade amplifier eliminates this dominant pole by keeping the value of V1 divided by Vin small by making the value of R2 to be approximately 2 by GM2. 2 by GM2. So see here, the supply voltage is given and M1, M2, M3 is cascaded So output of that, the output means here one source is applied the M1, but the output of this, okay, so this is nothing but the cascaded amplifier. So if we plot the large signal characteristics of the cascade amplifier, so for this amplifier, see, the width by length ratio is the same one, and these are the two PMOS and this one is the NMOS. So if we plot the ID versus Vout, so you will get like this graph, and from this side we are going to plot according to the wheel where it is intersected. So we have given that the name A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Then we are going to take the projection of this graph, that is V out versus the V in. So means suppose 0 V out, what is the V in? Okay, so that V in value is nothing but the high one. Okay, so like that if we plotted and if we see that the middle portion, then we will get the idea which that the transistor is in a which mode. So M3 is in active, and at for this side M2 is saturated and M3 is saturated, and after this line M2 becomes at the active. So here is also M1 is in a saturation condition, and after this vertical line M1 is in a active. So M1 is saturated when VGG minus VGS2 greater than or equal to VGS1 minus VT. So that if you solve for this, so you will get this equation where VGS1 is equal to VGS2. Then M2 is saturated when VDS2 greater than VGS2 minus VTN. So V out VDS1, which is greater than this. So V out is very greater than the VGS2 VTN. So M3 is saturated when VDD minus V out greater than VDD minus VGG VT V out, like this. So these are nothing but the large signal characteristics of the cascade amplifier. Then let us analyze this large signal voltage swing limits of the cascade amplifier. So maximum output voltage V out is nothing but the VDD, and minimum output voltage V out or minimum is referring all potential to negative power supply, that is ground in this case. We may express the current through each of the device M1 through M3 as ID1 is equal to beta 1. So VDD minus VT1, VDS1 minus VDD divided by 2, beta of VDD minus VT1 into the VDS1, and the second MOSFET current is given by this equation, and the third ID3 current is given by this. So where we also assumed that both VDS1 and Vout are small and Vin is equal to VDD. So solving for Vout by realizing that ID1, ID2, ID3 they are equal, as well as the amplification factor beta is equal to B2. So we get Vout minimum is nothing but this equation, that is amplification factor divided by beta 2 in bracket VDD minus VGG 3 minus mod, it is nothing but in a squared into this threshold values of that the gate source values minimum which will require to turn on that the MOSFET. So if you take one example for the calculating the minimum output voltage for the simple cascade. amplifier. So assume the values and parameters used for cascade configuration plotted in the previous slide on the voltage surface transfer function and calculate the value of the Vmin. Find the values of Vout and Vmax and V where all transistor remains in a saturation. So using the previous result, Vout mean is 0.50. Vout mean is the 0.50. 0.50 volts. So we know that simulation gives a value about 0.75 volts. So if we include the influence of the channel modulation on M3 in the previous derivation, the calculated value of 0.62 volts, which is closer. The difference is attributed to the assumption that both VDS and VDT out are small. The largest value output voltage is transistor of the cascade amplifier are in a saturation region. Then Vout is VDD minus VDS is saturation, and the corresponding minimum output voltage becomes Vout mean is equal to VDS1 saturation plus VDS2. So these limits are 3 volt and 2.7 volt. So consequently, the range over which all transistors are saturated is quite small for the 5 volt power supply. Okay. So today we have seen the push-pull inverter amplifier, and then what is meant by cascade amplifier. Thank you.